Nikki Vlay.
Bachata Vlay in the cut. What's going on?
What's good, bro? How you
Nothing
feeling,
much.
man?
I'm feeling tall right now.
Is it because you're tall? Are you standing on something?
Yeah, don't tell the StreamYard audience, bro. What's
Yo,
going
nice
on,
to
bro?
nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. Seriously.
Likewise.
Nah, I appreciate that, man. So what have you been up to, dude? It's been a week, right? Have you got any new news for the viewers? We're getting some
Um,
solid views on this, man. I don't know if it's mom and dad watching.
the people are watching. The extended families are watching right now. I'm telling you. And this is cool, right? Because it's about consistency. And I told Andrew like off the StreamYard, I was like, yo, it's gonna be cool when we're at episode 10, right? Because that means we've done it for 70 days. And that's, doing anything for 70 days, even just putting your shoes in the same spot is going to bring you confidence. So that's definitely important.
Nah, I love that, man. So it's been a week, Nick. Um, you got any new news for us, bro?
Any new news? I'm going through VAs for the editing company.
Okay.
It shouldn't be as difficult as it is, but just that's what you got to do in the life of an entrepreneur, right? When you want this stuff, there's just hurdles. There's hurdles involved, whether, you know, in anything that you're looking to build,
Yeah.
rather than just getting a 9 to 5 and doing what you're told. So this is what I asked for.
Right. I love that, man. And I know you tell me you're very vocal about the struggles and stuff that you're going through, which is good, man. It's that constant fight trying to figure it out, trying to get it done. But everyone goes through it. So it's all about trial and error. And you learned a lot sooner than a lot of people, which is good, right? You could take that as a good thing, you take that as a bad thing, but I'm sure that'll give you lessons for your business 5-10 years down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah, 100%. I think it's good to put everything into perspective. It makes me feel better knowing that everyone goes through this, right? You could think it's just you and then not talk to anyone and really have your mind play tricks on you. And it's good to, surround yourself with the right people that go through this stuff and been through that stuff and can tell you about it on the other side, right?
For sure, right? Because you always end up being stronger on the other side. So Nick, the reason why we came in here today, what I really want to talk about is purpose, right? What your purpose is, how it affects your day to day, how it helps you out in some situations and stuff like that. But, you know, I feel like a lot of people nowadays struggle with actually finding, what their purpose is. And I can even say firsthand experience, just really trying to figure out what am I doing? Where do I really want to go? Question that I ask myself a lot, right? And I think your purpose can change, right? Personally, as like years go on, especially like your role, right? And what you're doing and stuff like that. So Nick, finding your purpose, people always talk about it. For you, like what kind of struggles can you share with the audience of finding your purpose?
Yeah, that's a good question, bro. I think first off, we really gotta like hone in on what purpose is, right? And I'd like to do this with you as an exercise till we like hash it all out. But like purpose to me is being super clear on what you want and how you're gonna get it. Right. So purpose and clarity are very similar to me. They're almost interchangeable. And I think it's something that like you don't grow up searching, right? Some people can say like an obvious answer of like, oh, I just want to be happy. Oh, I want to travel. But then if you ask them, where do you want to travel? They don't know where, right? They're not clear on what they want. And I find it funny, like now that I'm thinking about it, as you said it, is like people always ask you, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? But no one asks
Right.
you, like, hey, like, what's your purpose? Like, what are you striving to do? So to answer your question now, the struggles that come with finding your purpose is to tell your mind to slow down, right? You really have to acknowledge why you do certain things and then if those actions are benefiting you. And you need to commit to this, every single day. It's not something for the frail.
Dude, I love that last part. And I know we have like this big thing like shiny object syndrome. There's so many things, right? We can get into that in a second, but there's so many things that can veer you off your purpose. And when you're in real estate, you're going to be an entrepreneur. Shiny object syndrome can really do that. And I know it did for me, right? First getting in, and then it's like, what do I want to do? Do I want to buy single family homes? Do I want to buy multifamily homes? How about mobile home parks? Maybe just an RV. Maybe I want to do Section 8, all these different things because you see people are making money. Maybe I want to wholesale. Maybe I want to fix and flip, right? There's all these different things. And you really have to go back and hone in on, okay, what am I really trying to do here? Who am I? What's my purpose? And how can I push that forward? So I love that you brought that up. And it's important, man, because when you talked about what you say and what you tell yourself every single day, and I think that's what really helps me stay on track now, because it's something that I didn't used to always do. And then when I start to veer off, on my purpose and what I need to get done, that next day, those morning rituals home me back in, and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm doing. And this is what I need to execute to follow into my purpose.
It's that commitment. 100%. I was fixing my light and it messed up my whole mojo, man. It messed up my purpose. It messed up my purpose of what I was going to say.
not staying locked in, man.
No, and that's a big part of it is you have to stay locked in, right? Because my biggest thing personally, right, if I could be vulnerable and let everyone know, is like, you got to be consistent, right? You got to be consistent, and when you aren't consistent, it, right? I haven't been consistent for this week, and I haven't been back in my beliefs, and that comes to, settling. For me, is a big thing is settling, right? For example, like if I'm getting up and going to the gym for myself, it's a lot harder, right? If I'm just doing it for me, I could say, oh, I could go back to sleep, right? And you could shrug it off. But if I'm going to the gym for Andrew, if I'm going to the gym for Daryl because we got a freaking marathon to run, right? If I'm going to the gym because I want to be, add 3 more years onto my life for my nieces and my nephews, and I can, be there for them. If I remind myself of that, you best believe my ass is up out of bed, right?
No, exactly, man. And it's tough sometimes, right? I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect and I don't snooze my alarm, right? Like it happens, but trying to figure out, for me, honestly, when it comes to like getting up in the morning stuff, the feeling of oversleeping is just like my day's so ruined that it feels like I'm afraid of it. Like, I'm afraid I'll snooze my alarm or whatever, but I'm really am afraid of just sleeping in and like missing out on getting after it in the morning. But just like that light, right? It threw you off track sometimes, and it's something little, but you can put that, right? Like you can transfer that over to real life. Because you're on your path, and there's going to be roadblocks along the way. How you get around them, shows a lot about yourself, right? So when you're talking about purpose, I mean, Nick, I'll say for me, man, knowing what I'm supposed to be doing every day and why it's important to me, like allows me not to stop, right? Like, we put ourselves in these tough situations. We've mentioned it on every episode, running a marathon, when you're cramping, I was cramping today on mile 12. I got 6.5 more miles to run. What am I going to do? Walk the rest of the way? No, dude, I'm not. It's not an option. All right. You go back, you just dabble back and you're like, okay, this is what I need to do this for. There is no option.
Explain why it's not an option though, because wouldn't it be better just to walk and then feel better and then finish it?
No, no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't, because you have to learn about yourself. You have to grow. The whole point of this stuff, right? The whole point of life's not easy. No one says it is. Being an entrepreneur, wow, is not easy. I can't even say the word, and you want me to be a successful one. You know, it's like none of this stuff is easy. If making $1 million was easy, everyone would be a millionaire, and then no one would want to be one. All the stuff that we want in life is hard, right? Growing up, you want to play in the NFL. Growing up, you want to play in the NBA. Well, not everybody can do that. That's why it's so coveted. So pushing through those tough moments, a lot of people don't like to do that. It's real easy to hit the snooze button, crawl back in bed, and just roll over. I'm like, I'll get it tomorrow.
And then tomorrow comes and they say they'll get it tomorrow.
I'll get it tomorrow. I really didn't need to work out this week. You know?
But then when there goes your abs, bro.
Dude, you start losing things. You start getting complacent. That's a whole nother story. But when you keep those constant commitments with yourself, they're small ones. But I told myself, I knew before the run I wasn't going to quit. There was, my knees hurting, of course, right? My hamstrings cramping, whatever. My foot hurts, whatever. I wasn't stopping. It wasn't even an option for me.
Think about what happens when you stop. My bad, bro.
No, man, because I'll answer that, dude. When you stop, then you start putting that self-doubt is now in your head. Oh, it's real easy to stop. It's real easy to stop. And a lot of people do. But like Alex Hormozi says, I can't fail if I don't quit.
That's powerful. And it translates, right? So you stop on that run. I mean, who's to say then, you think you left something somewhere and it's really not there, right? And you go back and you had it the whole time. You start second guessing yourself in different avenues of your life. And that's why it's important to constantly remind yourself. I had the same thing on a run, is where I thought the app said, okay, 45 minutes, and then we stop, right? But there was a distance for me to run to my car, and it would have taken me over 45 minutes. What I realized is it actually said 48 minutes. And when the 48 minutes hit, it stopped before my car. But in my mind, I already told myself I was running until I get to my car. So if I were to not commit to my commitments there, I'm getting a -1, It's important to keep the promises we make to ourselves.
For sure. And when those beliefs are so strong, right? When you constantly, every day, you're backing those beliefs, right? You're waking up, you're saying your affirmations, you're doing the things that need to be done each day, whatever your morning routine is, whatever your daily routine is. When you get in those tough moments, when you've been calling people for months and you haven't gotten a deal, contracts fall through, a flip gone bad, whatever it is, you could come back, right? Come back to home. Come back to those beliefs. Come back to that purpose, and it'll keep you driving. It'll keep you moving in the right direction. Like today, I just went back to, I know who I am. I'm not stopping. When you know who you are and you back that stuff every single day, there's nothing that's going to stop you. When you're making calls every single day and you haven't gotten a contract signed and a contract closed, and you're having beliefs about who you are as a closer, right? Who you are on the phones is something that you're trying to do. Stuff's going to start, that self-doubt's going to start creeping in your head naturally. But you need to realize who the hell you are, man. And a lot of people forget that. But that's why we do what we do every day, right? That's why we have to. That's why we have our beliefs. That's why we have our purpose. That's why we talk about it and we write it down every day. Because in those tough moments, there's a lot of people who just fold up. But the people who become successful in whatever they're doing, you want to be a chess player or a dancer, or I don't care what you're doing, whatever you want to be successful in life, those people get in those tough moments and blow right by.
Yeah. I think, you could back your beliefs with faith, or you could back them with fear. Either way, it's gonna get backed by something. And I mean, I wanted to ask you, bro, is like these beliefs that we talk about, beliefs. Everyone hears us talk about beliefs. What do you do to go about making your belief so strong, right? Because someone could believe something and then they could fall back into old habits or something like that. So, how do these beliefs, why do they mean so much? How can they become more?
Dude, that's a loaded question, man. That's a 5-star question. Nick, I really think it is knowing where you want to be in life is super important. And then knowing who you are as a person and believing it. And what I mean by that is, first off, you have to know like what's your destination, right? You have to know where you want to go to really like believe in this stuff, right? You got to realize, okay, this is what I want. This is really what I want. Once you know that, then you got to go back and do some self evaluating. Who you are as a person, what you need to fix, what you need to get better at, and how you can use your assets that you have to your advantage, and how can that leverage you into your destination, right? So whatever it is, whatever you have, I mean, for me, the biggest thing is I'm just going to continue to work. And the thing about it is I want to put myself through these tough situations, as many as I can, so that when something comes up, I've been there before. I've been at exhaustion and kept going. You throw me in the fire, I'm coming out. Because at the end of the day, I've been there and you haven't. As a person, when you know how far you can go, right? When you're done, you have nothing left in the tank and you push further, that's how you figure out who you are, right? They always say, I love the saying that you don't judge a man when it's, 70 and sunny. You judge a man when it's pouring rain and 30 degrees. In times of conflict, who are you? When you can figure that out and you believe who you are and you see that, your beliefs become unwavered.
Dude, Andrew's been using some big words tonight, bro. He used like coveted, he used unwavered. Like, this dude is studying a dictionary for these podcasts, bro. That's a good answer, bro. It's a good answer. And it's funny, now since you sent me that video, is like of that cop that's like talking inspirational and stuff. I think about it. And yeah, man. I mean, that's a loaded answer for a loaded question. And it really comes down to a lot of self-reflection, right? And studying. If you can't commit to yourself, that's step one, is committing to yourself, right? Just like they say in relationships, whatever. It's like if you don't love yourself, how can you love someone else? It's the same thing, right? Our brains are wired to, constantly want to do the most comfortable thing. And Andrew's talking about, in a time of when it is 30 degrees and rainy, that's when you're going to experience that growth, right? That's when you're going to push one more.
Yeah, man. And for you, right? I mean, you tell me. I think finding out how you can be happy is super important. I know you touched on it before, but when you don't need anybody else to make you happy and you can be happy by yourself, I think that's a huge part in growth. And when you can figure that out, I think it allows other things to be figured out, right? Like, hey, like, what is your purpose? when you can really be happy, because people can say, oh, like, you know, but nah, how many people can really be happy by themselves where you don't need anybody else? When you can figure that out, I think that opens up a lot of doors for you, Nick. And I mean, this is a high level question for probably people a lot more educated than we are, right? We're just a couple knuckleheads out here talking, having a conversation. But I think that's a huge thing, man, when it comes to identity and then knowing your purpose and then knowing, who you are.
I mean, you touched it, bro. Like and that's what's been tricky for me as I indulge in different things, right? Is every time throughout life, this is super funny to bring it up, but like every time throughout my life is like my identity and my role was always mixed.
Yeah.
It was always mixed when it needs to be separated, right? So when I was growing up and I was a gamer, right? Like that was my identity, right? But that's a role, right? And I'm Nick. Like I'm always Nick. Now when I'm a real estate investor, that's my identity. But nah, I'm Nick. I'm a real estate investor. I can edit videos. I can be a content creator, right? There's so many roles that don't, one role just isn't you, right? And it's about being able to adapt and become something much more due to this purpose and the beliefs you have, right? That keeps you, being scared to oversleep because you know how much you got to get done because you do know your destination. If people don't know their destination, I can go back to sleep, right? Which is going to cause me to be more tired throughout the day.
Yeah. And it's funny with you, man. I mean, I know when you're having a bad day.
Everyone does. Yeah.
Like you wear your emotions on your sleeve, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I know when you're out of it, because it's like, hey, man, like, dude, we got to get back on track. And I know I sent you a text yesterday, but it's like we have stuff we got to do, bro. Like we got things that need to be done.
Nah, it's a fact, and it makes me want to just like the thing I told myself while you were talking is like, I think Eric Thomas, he says it a lot, like you can't and Rock, like you can't outwork me, right? That's what I want to do this stuff for now. Like I want to do this stuff for just to be on I'll be cocky about that. If it gets me up to the gym every day, I'll scream, you can't outwork me, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm met with adversity, I'm ready for adversity. Right. So it's new things that make you tick too. Cause like Andrew said, your purpose changes sometimes. And there might be reasons as to if you just repeat that, it might not hit the same when you age and when you grow, right? As you continue to grow, your why reasons, your me reasons, your we reasons, they might have to, they're going to have to change over time, right? You're going to have to add more that make you tick and make you really, strive for greatness.
No, that's a huge shift there, right? Because you're talking about, hey, being loud with things and talking about it and doing all this stuff. And it's very funny you brought that up, because at work it's kind of the same thing. People, I don't really like talk about like some accolades and whatever like that, but people always coming up to me about, the fitness, fitness things at work, right? And I actually like if anyone beats my score at work, right? I don't think anyone will. I hope someone does. But I was like, you can go to Ruth Chris. We'll go to Ruth Chris together. You can get whatever you want. Go get the tomahawk steak, right? And I'll pay for it. You don't have to pay for a single thing. As much as you can eat there, right? I'll pay for it. But I love that competition. But it's that being loud, right? It's like, put in the work, because that's what you have to do to get there.
And it's genuine, right? You have the number one spot. But you were saying and you were visualizing it. That's what I want to touch on to too, is like, how can people, when they have a belief, how do they make it powerful, right? How do they conceptualize that and continue to flesh on it? Like, what do you do?
Dude, you got to find what motivates you, man. For me, I mean, like we have our guys that we send our runs into. And for me, I think I'm different than most people. But when I'm out there, man, I just go into like a dark place and just run.
Do you say hi to anyone?
Yeah, there's some like regulars, there's some regulars on the trail with me, I give them the thumbs up,
Okay.
maybe a good morning, but we're all out there trying to get better, right? We're not really there for hellos. We're there, okay, how can we get better,
I like
right?
that too, and that's what I noticed, like, when you're outside at those times, it's like everyone's on self-improvement, right? Everyone is doing something, whether it's a walk to clear their head and get their morning routine. Everyone's doing something that's gonna better them, when you get up and do those things early in the morning. But let me ask you, man, I mean, how do you flesh out these beliefs? How do you make them strong? Do you just write it down on a piece of paper every day? Is that what you do?
No, man, you gotta write them down. You gotta say them aloud. You gotta act on it, and you gotta believe it. Gotta believe it, right? So if you said, let's just use that task, man. You said, okay, I'm gonna run a marathon. Wrote it down, right? You gotta type your information into, phillymarathon.com, sign up. You said it out loud because you told me we talk about it all the time. You're out there, you're running. You have to do that, and you have to believe that you're gonna finish it. You have to believe that you're gonna go perform. If you miss one of those steps, you won't get it done.
So, what would you say to someone that's having a hard time believing? Like, let's just say, okay, I want to be a millionaire, right,
Mhm.
next year,
Yeah.
and someone's having a hard time doing that. What are the necessary steps to go about acquiring that belief?
Well, how are you gonna get there? Are you taking any actions towards there? Right? Because the biggest thing is I can say I want to be a billionaire next week. I can say it. Well, what am I really doing to become a billionaire? And one of the biggest steps is taking action. You could sign up for a marathon. You can say you're running a marathon. You could show up to the marathon. But if you don't put in the effort to run it, you're not going to do it. You're just not, right? So you say you're going to be a millionaire next year. What is your step by step? What are you doing each day to reach that goal? All right? I mean, we got to be doing something. We can't just hope money's going to fall from the sky. You're going to hit the lottery. I mean, yeah, you can do that. Good luck. I'm going to take that route of taking action.
Yeah. Preparation and action. And I think that's where some people might get complacent is when you compare to, your peers or something like that, right? I'm not comparing myself to someone who's going home to play Black Ops Zombies, right? And get the highest amount of rounds in Black Ops Zombies. I want to compare to someone like Patrick Bet-David, right? I want to compare to
Facts.
someone like Gary Vee. So then there's never an end, right? Because they're always getting better too. And if there was an end, right, it'd be when I'm moving on to another life. Like this, there's never an end. There's never where you're gonna hit a point and
Love
be
that.
like, I love this, right? Like you're always gonna want something more. Like that's how we are wired, right? So knowing that really gets me motivated to like, if I know where I want to go and I'm intentionally slowing myself down, you need to self-analyze as to why you're, slowing yourself down. Do you know your current location? Do you know your destination? Do you know why you're going there? All of this stuff. There is one more.
That's what I said to you yesterday, though.
And I
I'm
was
like,
hazy, right?
what are we doing? What are we doing, man? Are we just not trying to be successful anymore? Did the vision change? Is the marathon out the window? Did you just
Hell
give
no.
up on everything?
Hell no.
No. No, you didn't. So, okay, now let's get back on track.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, right? Let's get back to getting motivated. Because one thing that I love that we talk about every day in the morning, Nick, is that we're trying to help people at the end of the day. So when we're not doing our job, we're not helping somebody. There's somebody who needs us. I know there's someone who needs me. I don't know who they are yet. That name is not discovered yet. But there's somebody out there that needs us. And they're hoping and praying that we come along and we can help them. So if we're being selfish, right? And we're not doing the things that we need to do that we know we need to get done every single day to be the best version of ourselves, we're not fulfilling our purpose. Someone else. There's always someone else in what we do. There's always someone else who's being affected. When we're not on our stuff, when we're not doing our stuff, when I sleep in, hit the snooze button, don't work out, lazy, eating chocolate chip cookies in bed, watching Netflix and Cheetos, I just wasted someone else who needed me.
Chips Ahoy and Cheetos is crazy.
Well, that's so much sin, man. I couldn't even tell you when I had last time I had that stuff.
Oh my gosh. And no, that's important, bro. And it's healthy to realize it. I don't know if a lot of people are, there's got to be people that are listening to this that are like what I'm like is if I'm resorting to my old habits, or Andrew says I wear it on my sleeve, right? Like you can tell when I'm having a bad day. I will not be on the computer. I will not be responding to anyone, right? And it's important to, like, when I went in the VO, like, I reminded me of, like, oh, like, people were like, yo, what's good, Nick? I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, I'm like, when I'm not there, I'm not there.
Yeah.
Right. And it's important to remind yourself, like, you are valuable in this space. Right. And it's the same thing with these commitments, is they have to be reminded to yourself, constantly.
I love it, man. So, Nick, if you could wrap it up for somebody, man, they're coming here, they're struggling a little bit on their purpose. So I guess the first thing is you talked about, is you got to figure out, what purpose is. What purpose means to you, right? What it means to you is the first. That's the first step.
That's the first step, and I think it helps. Like, I can give you guys an exercise as to, like, you want to find your why, right? So write down why you're doing what you want to do, right? And then write why 7 more times and answer it. You want to flesh this thing out, right? Because like we said in the beginning, oh, I want to travel. Where do you want to travel, right? Like, I want to go to Sweden and blah, 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 and do this and do that. Like, have it all mapped out and visualize this and remind yourself of it daily, whether it's through affirmations or through your morning routine or right when you go to bed, right? Everything's going to be individualized to you. But yes, define what purpose is and figure out why the hell you're doing it. Step one.
Man. I love it. So once you get there, what we're going to roll into then is really believing it, right?
Yep. And that's through what Andrew said, is through taking action, right? So you have these beliefs and you have a game plan as to how you're going to get from your current location to your destination, and you prepare for that, right? It's not something you just jump into, right? It's something that I prepared for. I used to be a night person and I had to prepare to be a morning person. Did I just start waking up at 4 a.m.? No, I started waking up at 8 o'clock, and then I changed it to 7 o'clock, and then I changed it little by little. You don't need to jump in all at once and be, shock your system.
No. Yeah. I love it, man. Because my last thing I was going to say is keep doing it. Don't stop. You find something, you find yourself, you find your why, you find your purpose. You start taking action. Don't stop. Keep waking up. Keep giving it one more day, one more chance, until that is who you are. Once you do that, you found your purpose. So when you're in those tough times, when you're, struggling to get through things, I know who I am, and you'll figure that out too.
Love it. Yeah, guys, hit us up if you are going through the process of finding your purpose and you're struggling to, or you just have any questions that perhaps you thought we could have touched on. And yeah, I mean, we appreciate you guys tuning in. What is this, bro? Episode 5?
5?
We're about to have it on 2 hands soon, bro.
Sheesh.
Let's go.
Sheesh.
But yeah, guys, I mean, hone in on what you want, right? Have a very honest conversation with yourself where you hold yourself accountable. on things you want in your life and things you could remove in your life. And then slowly keep showing up every single day and stay consistent.
It's important. It's important. Figure out what you want. Keep going after it. Keep taking action. Don't stop. Don't stop. Nikki Vlay, episode 5. Back to Belief.
Sir.
In the books.
Done now.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace, guys.